And I've seen a lot of cops, I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take the world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fire going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, whatever else bring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Down by the water, maybe I'm the sun, maybe I'm a daughter when the music man calls. That's when I gotta play. We never had. I'm burning with hate, with love. Spin around. 'Cause as a boy I had a dream. Carry it with me today. Yes, I do. Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. That I have lost my friend. Like the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghostly embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for lands of blue. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this blues. But I'm afraid, what might be true, that I might never come back again. Seems to me that I have lost my friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late. Someone to take me down at night. Someone to make my day. New revelation fills my soul. Oh, I can waste away. You distracting my attention. You're all that's on my mind. Not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone new. Yeah, 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 you. Oh, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Oh, you. All right. Hey, yeah, yeah. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be ya, I wanna see ya. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn a new way. I wanna see you, I wanna be you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Yeah, you're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shadows. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of the new. Oh, na 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 na. Seems to me that I have lost my old friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghostly embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for the land of the blue. Oh, na 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 na. making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. I see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, whatever else spring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Burning with again. Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. That I have lost my old friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never hold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghostly embrace can only mean tears. Then I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for lands of the blue. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this blues. But I'm afraid, the world might be true, that I might never come back again. Seems to me that I have lost my friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late. Someone to take me down at night. Someone to make my day. New revelation fills my soul. Oh, I can waste away. You distracting my attention. You're all that's on my mind. You looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone I need to taste your life again. I need a rendezvous. New revelation just fills my soul. Beginning and ends with you. Distracting my attention, you're all that's on my mind. You. Not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do, yeah. You know that nothing feels real than someone else, yeah. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do, yeah. She knows that nothing feels sweeter than someone else. Yeah, alone and free, but that I'm in love with you, yeah. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone else. Yeah, 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 you. Oh, you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Where did my color go?
All right. We finally made it. What's that? I hear beeping in the background. I think something's blowing up.
Oh, you know, that's that confounded clock of mine that I think I told you about, that really it's like 10 minutes behind. It's more of a sentimental thing. So sometimes you hear a ding, sometimes you don't. So yeah, it's one of those ship strikes, and it's actually wound obviously tonight.
Obviously. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You showed us a key the last couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I forget to wind it because it does have to be wound, you know, every day. And I happened to look at it yesterday, I think, and it was sitting right at the time it was. And I'm like, you know what? Now I don't have to go through the changing the the hands of it. You have to go through and wait, let it ding, and then go through and wait and let it ding. And it was
Yep.
right at that time. All I have to do is wind it, and we're good. But now it's falling behind again.
We got a bunch of people in that. Dave Schaefer is in here. We got Tarek online. Apparently, we're second fiddle for Tarek because he's watching somebody else. Yeah.
Oh no!
They have a break for 10
that's-
minutes, so he's gonna watch us, and for 10 minutes, and then go back to the other. So thanks a lot, Tarek. Anyway, Hogarth, how you doing? What's going on? Sean, what's going on? Mr. Sean Nielsen's in the chat.
Yeah.
Dylan for Bloodstone, and I saw Greg Meyer in there too. So welcome everybody. We are here, and
Happy Friday.
This is it's
Friday,
the end of the week already. That's crazy.
That doesn't feel possible.
I'm so glad.
It's over. It's over. But until Monday. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quiet you.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's dreadful. I just found out. You'll know how this is. You know how this is. I got 9. I just found out today that I got to go into 2 stores and install 9 new computers in 2 days.
In 2 days.
Oh, no.
In 2 days. Yeah. So
are these are these point of sales or just
Yep.
Yeah, point of sale. Okay.
Yep. So
Still,
you got to, it's a minimum of probably 2.5 hours each one. That's if everything goes right.
Is that your week?
That's if everything goes right.
What was that, Jess?
Is that over the weekend? You got to get them done.
No, I got until Tuesday, but I'm I'm off this weekend, so I'm not going in. It's not happening.
Right on.
But all right.
How's your weather up there?
My telescope's outside right now.
Yes. So I'm gonna try and be not distracted too, because it is clear as a bell here as well, and the humidity is finally gone.
Well, for a day.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take that day.
How you doing, Corin from the UK? Corin, my buddy, who sends me all those voice messages via WhatsApp, and
it's right.
Yeah. So tonight is going to be the first edition of our Getting Back to Basics thing that we're going to end up doing, and we're going way back kind of stuff, like looking with your eyes stuff, that kind of stuff. So before we do all that, again, let's give our sponsors a shout. And where's the sponsor? There we go. Sponsors. There we go. So thank you to our main sequence level sponsor, Woodland Hills Camera and Telescopes. And for those of you that are watching that don't know about us, we give out giveaways all the time. Go to astroworldweb.com and you can sign up for all the giveaways. Our next giveaway is tonight, actually. We're doing a class, a Masters of Pixinsight Class. So definitely check that out. Next slide. If you missed it this year, I'm sorry to tell you it's over. The Prima Luce giveaway has come and gone, and the Eagle 4 has landed at its new home, and the gentleman that has it is sending us pictures and everything with it. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice. And
hopefully Prima Luce will not necessarily have a Black Eagle, but another giveaway coming next year. Right, Tom? Thanks. So and Camera Concepts, we got gift certificates for Camera Concepts, and we got a whole bunch of Optolong giveaways still coming up. We're giving away an Optolong giveaway every month until Thanksgiving. And our ultimate giveaway, Thanksgiving, some lucky person is going to get, and I'll show it on the screen, is going to get the SHO narrowband 3 nanometer 2-inch filter set. And that's retail about $1,000-$1,200 depending on when you get it. But that's an awesome giveaway. We have like over 100 people in the Optolong giveaway. We'd like to break 250, and that would be nice, at least for the SHO. So that is that. And then we got tonight, we're giving away our Masters of Pixinsight Class. And we're also giving away once a month a yearly subscription to IP for AP, which is an awesome tool. And it gives a lot of tutorials, not only for Pixinsight, but for Photoshop. And thank you to Craig Starks out there who put out an awesome video on the Discord channel on how to use layers in Photoshop. It's really making me want to go back to Photoshop because of the control that you have. So if you don't know anything about it, check out that video. And if you don't win the yearly IP for AP, just go buy one. It's good stuff. And we couldn't do any of this stuff without all of our member sponsors. Thank you to all of our Black Hole members. John, Bob, Charity, and Sean, thank you so much. Our Red Giant members are growing again. So thank you so much for that. And our main sequence members at all that, I can't say thank you enough to every single person that's on all of these lists, because we couldn't do it without you. We couldn't buy the shirts. We couldn't buy the perks. We couldn't do anything because, I'm sorry, all my stuff's got to go to gear or my wife. So that's where it goes. So without all the members and the sponsorships and all that kind of stuff, we couldn't do what we do, and we love doing it. So thank you for everybody and your support. It means so much. You have no idea.
Absolutely.
And Wednesday night, we got Molly Wakeling coming, and she's going to be giving an awesome presentation on the James Webb Space Telescope. Don't miss it. This Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here. Same bad time, same bad channel. There you go. And on September 16th, we have Nico Carver from Nebula Photos, which is going to be really, really cool. I've never met Nico, so it's going to be a first for me. And probably the first time I'll meet him is probably on the drive run in early September. But he is also one of the ones on Astropalooza. And I got a confirmation of one more person that's coming on. I just got to lock it down. Just so we know, this is growing so much. This may be a 4 or 5 hour event. Really. And it's
Nice.
not
Okay.
all going to be live. It's not all going to be live because there's no way that we could get everybody across the world to do this due to time zones or other commitments. Some stuff may be videos recorded. Some stuff may be, just presentations by them. And it's really going to be kind of like the show for astrophotographers by astrophotographers or something like that. It's going to be pretty cool. And then not last side. There we go. And again, go check us out on Discord. Craig Starks, like I said, just put out an awesome video on there. Twitch, we're up to 25 people watching us on Twitch. Thank you to our Twitch followers. And Twitter keeps on growing, and the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, Facebook, tweet, Twitter, whatever it is. Just come and join us. We need all the support. So thank you so much for everything. It really means a lot, and I can only say thank you so much.
Yeah, you can say it a few more times, but it's all good.
Thank you. Please, thank you. Thank you. And if you want to thank us even more, hit the $sign over there in the chat, and you can donate to us right now. but if you're not a member, absolutely, that's fine. And George, welcome. Greg's in there, Corin, Dylan, everybody's still there. 20 people on. Something happened with my posts. My social media posts didn't go out with the new thing, so we might have a little bit less viewership tonight than normal. But it's gonna be interesting. So
it'll be fine.
It'll be fun. It's always fun. And it'll bounce up again. I've been talking to the guy that has been running the poster. And he was actually in my system today, and it was all fixed. And then I went to go post it. It only posted to my website, my Facebook page, not everybody else's. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, so what's everybody doing? I know that Jesse, you're kind of imaging right now, or
I am. Well, I'm waiting for it to get dark. I'm gonna do. I've been trying to get data together on the tulip. So with the moon, I guess we'll do an H alpha tonight. So,
okay, yeah.
I get about 3 hours before it, from the time I can start until the time it dips behind the trees, and then I'll get a little bit on the cocoon. That's going to be pretty much the rest of the summer, probably into a good portion of the fall, because I only get about 25 minutes on that one tops, and
Those
it's right near the zenith when that gosh darn trees. I'm telling you, they are like, I love them when it gets hot.
We should all chip in, for a tree service for Jesse.
Right?
Everybody just chips in.
We
It should be like a marathon or something. That Jesse,
we'll just do like, I'll make
a
GoFundMe account. It's called Jesse's Tree Chopping Foundation. And
something. Now my husband and I have been talking about it, and there's, especially after my tragedy, or my near miss tragedy a month ago, with that branch that almost hit my rig. Say we've been here for 21 years, and the trees are a lot bigger than they were 21 years ago, and so we know that they need to come down. But a lot of them are really close to the house. So he can't. I mean, he has a chainsaw; he can take some down. But the ones that are, yes, he'll take some down for me, but I think what finally, hit it is like, what? We got nor'easter season coming up. We need to get some of these down, because they're going to crush her. We got a couple of house crushers, and that weren't, and that are now. And so not going to lie, it's going to be a win for me, so that, I'm like, okay, bye-bye, you're out of here. So there's a few of them that are slated for being gone as soon as the leaves come down from them. Then one particular, possibly a second one, and then there's another one in the front yard that's not really going to affect my imaging, but it just needs to come down. So,
gotcha.
But on that note, I've got to say, if Scott C is out there, I want to give a big shout out to him for doing me a big solid up at Cherry Springs, because as predicted, I had one heck of a time polar aligning, because it was like, wow, I have the whole northern horizon, and I had one heck of a time. So Scott C came up on me, and I heard, is that Jesse? I'm like, who recognized me 6 hours from my house? And he came up just as I was polar aligning, and I was having one a heck of a time getting Polaris in there. And he's like, oh, you're aligning. And he got me hooked up just right. So if you're out there, Scott, thank you so much, so very much. But yeah, no, that was fun. And I know you guys talked about that Wednesday, but I wasn't with you guys, so I just gotta say, like, I had an absolute blast up at Cherry Springs. That was great meeting Scott. Met some really cool people. I mean, the being my first trip there, like when I first got there, I'm trying to find the lay of the land, where to put my tent. And I did tent. And I will say, like, next time I am bringing a heated blanket. And my second night, I did throw some hot hands.
You got to get the room over at the Millstream and just, spend the $80 a night and just do it.
I had a nice little setup, though. I don't know if you stuck your head in there at all, but like I had like a little club.
I did. I saw it. It was like a little house. It was nice.
I had my air mattress. I had a little table sitting there. I had some little red lights wired up that are plugged in, so when you open it up, it's like all lit up already. And I even had like a blanket that I could set on the ground. So if I got tired of sitting on the edge of the bed, or like during the daytime, evening time, where I could sit on. So it was my nice little, but it was cold. So I'm definitely bringing heat when I go up there again. So when I got there, I was more worried about finding a good spot, getting my tent set up, having it not blow away while I was trying to set it up. But as soon as I got my gear up, it was like all of a sudden everybody's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" I mean, everybody was so welcoming. I met some. I wish I could remember everybody's names. I mean, but just everybody there was just amazing. I mean, I don't think, like if you make eye contact with anybody there, they're just like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" And I jokingly had said like people need to have like a little name tag or a little something around their neck is like, my name is so and so. I'm from here. I drove this far to get here. This is how many trips I've been. This is my first trip, my second trip, my trip, and I do astrophotography, visual, or landscape. I mean, like those same things I said over. But it was so much fun. So anybody out there that's within driving distance, you got to get up there. I remember, Dan, the one young man that you were talking to that was doing astrophotography that started during the pandemic.
Yep.
I would say like teenager, young man.
Yep.
And I remember saying to him, like, he had never seen dark skies. I was like, sit down before you look up or you're going to fall down because the skies just blow you out of the water. I mean,
it's funny that kid and his girlfriend, I guess it was his girlfriend. I don't know, but they were both 18, 19, I think, if I remember right.
Somewhere
like that. They were under 20, both of them. And, you know what the really cool thing is? It seems, at least from Cherry Springs State Park in June and our trip in July, I'm starting to see either I'm getting older or the field's getting younger. I'm not sure because, I'm seeing a lot more younger people at the star parties actually doing imaging that more than I've seen, well, since, the year before COVID, before it stopped. But it's been getting a lot younger out there, like 18, 19, 20. And I thought it was cool that the girl that was with him turns out to be a refugee from Ukraine that moved to Poland.
Wow.
Yeah, that moved to Poland and got out of Poland, now lives in New York with this kid. And this kid put her up. Wow. So I guess they're like boyfriend, girlfriend now, or brother, sister, or whatever. I don't know. But I got her whole story. She's been traveling all over the world and everything. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That is awesome. I mean, just people from all over, from, different careers, different places, but everybody just comes together. And it was just, I know, and Eric, I know, I probably told, our viewers too, but like, I've never been to a star party. I mean, everything that I don't have a local club. I have learned what I do on YouTube, on the internet, by books. So if I ever pronounce stuff awful, which tonight I just might, it's because I've read it, not heard it. So I've never really been around, in that atmosphere. So I tell you, I got out there talking to people and it was just like, boom, I'm gone. So I'll have to tell you later about how bad my Saturday night data ended up being. But why? Is because I'm just chit-chatting and, having so much fun doing that I wasn't paying half as much attention to my rig as I should have been.
Yeah, me too. I lost about an hour and a half of data myself, but
yeah, but you know what? It was a great time. Like, I had a great time with you and Ron, like, and looking in his telescope. That was the first time I've done any kind of visual at all in a long time. That was fun. But just getting to talk to people that have the same thing, it's like, that was awesome. Just loved it.
Well, Jess, I gotta give you props because, Scott helped Jesse. Well, it turns out Jesse bailed me out on at the trip because I forgot this.
There it is.
It rolled under my chair for my second mount because I brought two rigs. I didn't have my counterweight bar. And Jesse, for whatever reason, was not using her AVX. And so this just happened to fit. So same shaft size. And so Jess lent me hers for the day and a half.
And it worked out.
Wow.
Yep.
out.
I knew it was going to be a beautiful place up there, just, as far as just bar and stuff and using other, like when I was still, like I just finished setting up my tent and I was still getting my telescope set up. And the folks that were across from us, in the center of the field, the Delaware folks, which were like, oh, yo, Delaware, woo. But I heard one of them say, I need a really tiny Allen wrench. I just kind of set it out there into space. And then people just start showing up with little Allen wrenches. They're like, here, is this going to work? Here, is this going to work? Here, is this going to work? I'm like, I have found my people. It was cool. It was very cool. Because like, I've said that before, but nobody's come out of anywhere because there's nobody around, just trees.
Oh, I finally got the echo out of my head. Oh, finally.
Oh, good.
Good.
Yeah, so tonight's back to basics, and we're going to talk a little bit about constellations, asterisms. We're going to talk about the Bortle class and what Bortle sky scale actually means. And we're going to talk about, what you can see or what you can get using a planetarium software. And also, what's the right tool for the right job? I think we're going to touch on that a little bit. And I think that'll be the first episode of Back to Basics. I think that's what that is. So, who would like to start off? Eric, Jesse, I've been talking enough.
Well,
doesn't matter.
I want to start with constellations, I guess.
Okay.
I can go ahead and get that started. So,
Okay.
I'll make you nice and big.
You make me nice and big. Oh, Lord. Hold on.
Oh, let me get rid of this. There you go.
Don't have to be that big.
And it's all yours, Miss Jess.
Oh, okay.
So let me ask you before you start. Do the kids at school call you Miss Jessie or Miss Winky?
Miss Winky. Miss Winky.
Okay.
I mean, that's it is Miss Winky, and so that, of course, with a name like Winky in high school, you get to Winky Dink, Winky Twinky.
Kids are such
I always tell my
jerks.
students, like, after you're out of my class, Winky Dink is just fine, but I'm lighthearted enough for it, but it's definitely Mrs. Winky.
There you go. All right, so there you go. Moving on.
All right, so I guess getting started with the basics, and I'm going to come right back to Cherry Springs. So a couple of the young men that I met there, as I said, there's people from all different levels and all different, some were doing visuals, some were doing astrophotography. Really easy to pick out the astrophotographers because of the wires hanging off of their telescopes. I mean, that was easy, super easy. You could walk around during the daytime and be like, astrophotographer, visual, astrophotographer, visual. But there was a couple of young men that were across and diagonal, and they had a job, and they were learning how to star hop. And I remembered years ago, when I first started doing visual and trying to learn how to star hop, and I never did very well with it. The resources certainly weren't out there when I got started in that. But they were just having such a good time with it. And a lot of the folks around there were really helping them out. But knowing how to find your way around the night sky, is probably one of the most important things in any kind of astronomy, astrophotography. I think we get kind of, as I'm over here, like, if you see me looking here, I'm over here doing my plate solve, for getting ready for imaging. So we kind of get complacent, I think, with where everything is. And I know I do, and I have to reorient myself, completely. But at the end of the day, it is, what constellation, where is the target that we're looking at? Is our telescope pointing in the right direction? So what is a constellation? So a constellation, there are 88 of them, and they make up the entire night sky. And, when you think of constellation, for example, if you think of Ursa Major, you're thinking of the Big Bear, but it's not just those outline of stars. It's the stars that are in it, that are around it. It's kind of like a city, I guess the best way. And when my students have asked me about it, I don't teach astronomy generally. I don't teach this level of astronomy, but obviously they know I do this. So, what's a constellation, Mrs. Winky? Well, it's like, think of it like a city block, all right? If you were to give an address to someone, and, try to give them directions to your home, I live at this location, I'm at, 1, 2, 3, 4, Main Street. but you're going to say, okay, you're going to go down 2 roads, and make a left on the 3rd block. Well, a constellation is kind of like a block, and it's a chunk of sky that is designated by these stars. So it's the stars that we see, it's, that outline, whether it is Ursa Major, whether it's Cassiopeia, whether it's, Cepheus. Again, am I pronouncing that right?
Cepheus,
Yep,
yes.
Cepheus.
It is Cepheus,
Yeah,
okay. Perseus, like they say, but there's 88 of them, okay? We don't get to see all of them depending on where you live, unless you're like right on top of the equator. You're not going to see all of the constellations. They're going to be, specific to your latitude. But they were, I don't know when they were designated. And if anybody knows that, please tell me, because I'd love to know when they were designated, these specific constellations were designated as these are the ones that are going to mark out our night sky. So within
the whole thing with that is, from what I know, the constellations weren't all just set and said, hey, one day they were all put together. This is a conglomerate of information from throughout time.
Well, I'm sure
it was.
When did they say this is going to be the outline? Like, okay, so we've got Perseus here, and this is the outline that makes Perseus, but this is the space that we are going to consider part of Perseus.
Yeah, who actually gridded it out, kind of. Yeah.
You know what? I'm betting, and I'm just taking a stab at this. I'm sure it's a lot of, the older astronomers, because a lot of these were named. There were quite a few were named by Roman astronomers.
Yep.
Greek astronomers.
And Greek. Yep.
So a lot of them were designated, and through storytelling and things like that. So I'm betting a lot of it was designated, through antiquity and just progressed on. Just like, for example, Gemini. Gemini, the most two popular stars are Castor and Pollux, and those were Roman twins. So stuff like that. Perseus is Greek hero. So
it looks like the modern. I'm looking this up. I'm not.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I'm kind of curious about. When they made that modern designation, and they said, you know what, we are going to delineate the sky into 88 chunks, and this is what it's going to be. Now,
so it looks like the 1603 star atlas called the Uranometria by Johann Bayer assigns stars to individual constellations and formalized the division by assigning a series of Greek and Latin letters to the stars within each constellation. So that was the start of it. I'm sure, like Eric said, it grew from there. But these constellations were named probably Copernicus time or something like that.
Yeah,
some of them were named a long time ago. And believe it or not, some of them are not only Greek and Roman, but some of them are Arabic too.
Yes,
and,
yes. Some of them
perfect example is the Pleiades, and actually the Pleiades was originally called Subaru, believe it or not, just like the car.
Yeah,
that's why they have
the car.
Yeah, so that's why they have that as their little logo.
Okay, I know a lot of the stars have Arabic names, and and
they do.
But I hadn't really thought much about the constellation. So it was 1600. What year? Tell me one more time, and I might remember a second time. 1603. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Learned something new. So in 1603, I guess, is when they started getting this all together. But for us, knowing the constellations, is knowing what is inside of them. So, if we want to look at a particular target, it's going to lie somewhere within the boundaries of that constellation, not necessarily the outline of stars that makes up, the bear or makes up the twins or makes up whatever, but it's somewhere within that boundary. And then you have the asterisms. Okay, so Big Dipper, I think it's probably the most common one. The Big Dipper is not a constellation. It is a part of a constellation. It is part of Ursa Major, which is the Big Bear, and still not sure what bear has a tail like that. But anyway, that's a question for another day.
Maybe
So
they evolved through time, you know, and then maybe back then they had tails like that. I don't know.
that's all I can imagine. You know, or,
There was no iPhones back there. You can, you don't know.
right? They just know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to kind of roll with it and be like, I love your bear with the tail, so it works for me. So
Works for
you
me.
know, so then so the asterisms are not a constellation unto themselves. They're part, you know, an asterism is going to be a part of one of those 88 constellations. Of course, the Big Dipper being the most common one. So circumpolar, what does that mean? So Polaris, our North Star, it stays. It moves a little bit. It's got a little bit of a wobble to it. You know, for my part, it moves just a little bit back and forth between a couple leaves, you know, and so I can see it like it'll be right
Just
now.
to be sure,
just,
the leaves are what's moving, right? So
well, it's pretty darn close. I'm going to tell you, it's pretty darn close to one of them. I'll show you the picture I took looking through my finder scope the other day, and it's like leaf and Polaris is literally like riding next to it. So it does kind of
Nice.
dip behind it a little bit, and I can kind of see it from behind the leaf. So yes, I have polar line with Polaris behind this daggone leaf. But anyway, so it wobbles a little bit, but to our eyes, it doesn't move, you know, very much over time, you know, over not a course of our lifetime. So because Polaris stays where it is, so I'm at 38 degrees latitude. It's about, you know, it's 38 degrees with 4 hands up from my horizon, right? And it just sits right there. And circumpolar means those constellations are moving around it. Okay. So over the course of the year, those constellations are going to move around it. So even these ones down here that I don't get to see, when they come up high enough, I will get to see them above the trees. So I will get to see Cassiopeia, you know, later on in the year. You know, I will get to see Cepheus in a little bit, Perseus in a little bit, you know, and so those are the circumpolar ones, you know. Then we've got, you know, what Draco is another one that I'm not really familiar with, because Draco is generally behind my tree. I'm gonna be honest, I'm cheating right now. Okay. I'm straight up cheating right now. The Big Dipper, the asterism Big Dipper. Big Dipper right now, I remember hearing, and it just popped up to me, like popped into my head just now, that you can tell the seasons with the Big Dipper, because I think in the wintertime, the bear's tail is hanging like an icicle. Did anybody ever hear something like that?
Not I.
I'm trying to remember.
That doesn't
So,
mean
like,
it's not true.
I know. I'm going to take a peek here, but like in the springtime, it's pouring out. Like it looks like the ladle is pouring out. In the wintertime, the tail is hanging down like a little icicle. And there is something else for the spring and the summer, or excuse me, for the summer and the fall. But I remember hearing that, and it always, you know, helped me. I mean, not that I couldn't tell what the season was anyway, you know, because of the temperature and calendars, you know, all that good stuff. But I imagine for, you know, ancient folks, that was a good way for them to kind of, you know, get a handle on what season was coming, maybe. But let's see. Other circumpolar. Did I hit them all? So I did the Draco and Perseus and Cassiopeia.
Perseus isn't normally one of them, I don't think.
Not Perseus. Perseus is kind of like on the outs. It's like kind of like outside, like Cassiopeia, Perseus. It's not really.
Yeah, so, it really depends on where you are. Let me just throw my 2 cents in. If you think about it, everything is circumpolar.
I mean, it is, yeah.
Because
eventually,
everything revolves either around the northern or the southern. Now, what makes it circumpolar is that it's visible from your latitude throughout the whole year, no matter what. So in New York, the 5 circumpolars are Ursa Minor, and it's going to be the same in Chicago: Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, Cepheus, Cassiopeia, and Draco.
Okay.
And those are the 5. And if you're like a couple degrees down, and I'm going to butcher this name, Camelopardalis or something like that. It's the camel.
Camel. That's called camel.
Yeah, the camel. The camel.
Okay, so first you have to see, like, now you're just completely blowing my mind here, because once it dips down behind the trees, I have this idea of what the constellations look like behind there, and in my mind, I think Perseus has always been down there. So now, you've really like blown my whole mind. I'm not much farther south than you. I mean, I'm like 38 degrees latitude.
So you got to remember that what makes it circumpolar is that you can see it through the entire year. Right now, Perseus is really high, like almost at the zenith right now.
Yeah.
Right? So think about how far that is away from Polaris. Now take that spacing and go around to the other side. It's going to be under your horizon in the winter.
My mind, it's always been there. In my mind, it's always been there because I don't know any better.
But that's what circumpolar is. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You blow my mind though, because like I say, in my mind, I've always thought that.
Oh yes, Jesse, I don't think Perseus is up the whole year. I don't think so.
Dang it. There goes
Sorry
my little
to burst
world.
your bubble.
Blew my little world, Dan.
I do that sometimes. I'm sorry.
That's good. No, that's okay. I probably needed the reality check. Now I'm just gonna.
But you really got to kind of check for your latitude. Because if you're down in Florida, Polaris is lower.
Like 23.
Yeah. If you're in Maine or Canada, you're gonna have more circumpolar because because the North Star is higher. So you have more that are around the entire year. You see less of everything that we see, is more southern stuff. But if you were at the North Pole or the South Pole, every constellation would be circumpolar because nothing would set.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes. I'm over here wondering why I'm
Hey.
I'm trying to do two things at a time again. I'm not good at multitasking, Dan.
That's why you got to set up Nina, hit play, and just let it do its thing. or as Eric would say, the ASIR do the same thing. Just let it do its thing.
So these young men would so as far as the constellations go, and just I think for us, for what we do, it's nice to know. Obviously, it's good to know, but we do kind of take for granted, like how easy it is to get our telescopes to go to, and not really even need to know what constellation it's in. It's like, if I know that I'm going to shoot M20, I don't necessarily even need to know what constellation it's in.
No.
But it's good to know. It's good to know. It's good to have a general idea of the night sky. And I know these young men that I was talking about that had the job, they were learning how to star hop. And did you guys ever? I'm sure, Dan, you've been doing this for a million years. You probably did star hopping. Eric, did you ever learn star hopping?
Yeah, I actually on the 8SC, I started just plugging in different stars as well as using apps, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. And just started going, because there are certain stars that you kind of know. At least you may have heard of if you have, interest in certain types of, subjects like in science or maybe mythology and stuff like that. So I got kind of familiar with a lot of the different objects, right? Based off of what I learned, just learning from literature, like I said, Castor and Pollux, Perseus and Hercules and, Cassiopeia and Andromeda, and Regulus, and Rigel, and Orion, it was just, I got interested. That's what got me really going, in astronomy, was just, learning about that stuff. And I just started this hop. I just wanted to go here and go there and just check these different areas out. And then there were many times where I learned through star hopping that when my telescope couldn't do a go-to, and it would just warn me and say, hey, this is below your horizon, or this, that, and the other. You're like, okay, okay, I can't see that one yet, or I can't see that one yet, or so on. So yeah, I did a little bit, of star hopping just to get familiar.
Yeah, and it was never learned it as well as I probably should have, and I did share that with these young men because they had made a mention about the go-to. I'm like, I've learned it. It's not, it's something that's going to be wonderful for you to know. Even if you, they had mentioned that they're like, we're going to take our camera, that they either had or were going to put their iPhones up to the eyepiece and take photos. So I did kind of warn them, like, that's the gateway photo, guys. Like it's just beware. That once you get that first photo, it's just like it's all she wrote, but and I remember learning a couple of the stars and like going from this one to this one. And so what is star hopping? Okay, if anybody out there is wondering what in heaven's name we're talking about, what star hopping is, it's trying to find constellations by saying this is one bright star. I know this bright star. Let's say this is Altair. I'm going to go from this star to this one, and then I'm going to go like 2 degrees, like over in this direction and then over in this direction to point my telescope at this target that I can't see with my naked eye, but I'm going to put my finder scope on this target and hope that it's going to be in the eyepiece. So what star hopping is working your way around the night sky using these bright stars to find your locations, which is a lost art, really. I think so. Dylan O'Donnell did a video. I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you haven't, you need to go find it. It's absolutely hilarious. He did it like 3 or 4 years ago on the difference between astrophotographers and visual astronomers.
I saw it. Getting effing camera. When he says getting effing camera.
It was amazing. I mean, but he had like the gray beard on, and he was talking, but he went to star hopping, and he was like, and if you go to, and like the one finger is the 1 degree, and if you put your hand out, it's 20 degrees, and spread out it's 20. But he went through the whole thing, and oh my gosh, it was so spot on. It was absolutely amazing. So if anybody out there has not seen that, you got to go find it. It's definitely worth the chuckle. And so essentially that's what star hopping is, how to find your way around the night sky by learning what the bright stars are. And obviously they're going to be different based on your location and, the time of year and whatnot. But that's something good to know, I mean, just to know where you are. I mean, like Eric was saying, about when he was getting theirs, like object below the horizon. I had the same thing with my 6SE too, and if you didn't know what the stars were, you don't know where you're pointing them at,
Right.
I remember with the 6SE, having to, when I went through the alignment, like the 3-star alignment, you had to know where a couple stars were. And like, it didn't always, like, if you put in the wrong star and you went to align it, it would go through the process, but you'd end up like pointing down, you'd end up pointing like, in the completely wrong direction. Like if you just happen to put the wrong star in, when it says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center this star and I'm going to go through the alignment process with this star. Well, the computer is assuming that what that star is and you're locking that one in, and then you go to another one and you're going to another star, another bright star, and you've said, okay, well, this one here should be Rigel, and I'm going to put this one in, and you lock it in, and now you've just told your telescope to go to the completely wrong place. So, you have to have a kind of general idea. So,
yeah. But
one thing that's
Eric,
really good.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I will say one really good thing when you're talking about, say, star alignment. Especially this time of year, there's certain areas or certain asterisms that could be helpful if you're just getting started and you're learning, the 3-star alignment. One really good asterism would be for this time of year. It's a summer triangle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Altair, Deneb, and Vega. 3 very bright stars, and utilizing those for your, your star alignment. That is a very handy, trio of stars to use, to do that 3-star alignment this time of year, because it's known as the summer triangle. So it's very common. You'll see it right up in, above, at zenith and very near zenith, where we are right now. So.
And it's very prominent. I mean, all 3 of the stars are
They
probably
are
bright.
very prominent.
If you look up, I mean, even at Cherry Springs, I remember being able to spot those. I mean, they are so much bright. I can never remember my magnitude scales, but they are probably the brightest stars straight up. So
yeah.
So
but you know what the brightest? Well, what is the brightest star in the sky?
The brightest star in the night. Well, I mean, in the night sky, is we'll see. Is it Sirius?
It's Sirius.
It's Sirius.
It's Sirius. Yeah.
It's serious.
It is serious. Are you serious? Yes. I
am serious. It is serious.
Yeah.
But before, Dennis had a good idea in the chat. And I'm just going to bring this up real quick.
I was actually going to do this.
You're going to do the circumpolar?
No. But I was going to bring up because I was talking. You wanted me to talk about planetariums.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give them a quick visual on what circumpolar is real quick, because I have it set up. So you're gonna have to excuse my horizon. This is my custom horizon. So if it looks kind of weird, that's what I could see with the trees and stuff like that. So right here is Polaris. I'm sorry, right here is Polaris. Can you guys see the live, or do you guys see the 3?
I got it live now. Yep.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yep. And on YouTube. Yep.
So here is Ursa Major, and there's that lovely tail that Jesse was talking about, right? The nose, the feet, that big tail. Though I'm not sure about that. Draco is here, and you can make out this, the head of Draco in light polluted skies on Long Island. You can make that.
That's not Draco. I don't believe. I think Draco is right next to it. No, that's Draco. Yeah.
This is Draco right here.
Yeah, what you're circling at right now. You were over a little bit over to the right, to the left of it. So at first I was wondering what that constellation
was. This is a head.
Yep, that's
and
the
then
head.
Here's the body going across like this.
Yep. Yeah. Because you were over right next to it.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, so I was.
I'm so far away from the screen, I can't know what I'm pointing at. So, over here, you can't really see it over the names because I got a lot of stuff on here. This is Cepheus, right here.
Yeah.
And over here, we got Cassiopeia here, and Ursa Minor here. So those are your 5. At least from mid-northern latitudes, right? So if I were to, if I were to fast forward in time here, we'll do it by, a couple of minutes, and you'll see how they all kind of rotate around the North Star, right?
Yeah, and that's, and that. Another good thing to think of, and I hadn't even thought of that. I mean, until you started spinning this, is when people do those photos of star trails. Yep. When they put their camera right on, they just center Polaris. I've not done this, for obvious reasons. But when they center Polaris in their on their sensor of their camera or telescope, whatever it is you're using, and just let it sit there, and you'll see those you'll see the stars just trail right around it. So I guess whatever is going around, spinning around there's circumpolar constellations.
So now we're in Cuba, right? Right now Polaris is down here. Okay, so now instead of 40 degrees, we're at about 18 degrees. So now you probably don't have, the only circumpolar one you may have is Ursa Minor. And you may not even have that at Cuba,
Mm.
but you'll get a lot more of the southern sky. As you go, see, everything dips underneath. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we were in Greenland, right? Now Polaris is up here. Yeah. There you go. They don't have the stars yet. Oh, you know. I'm sorry. The sun doesn't go down.
The sun is not sitting right now. That's right.
Yeah, you're green. Yeah, the sun doesn't go down there.
So you know what? Everything's circumpolar because you can't see it anyway. So, but I just wanted to give that visual real quick on that, and then we'll move on to Eric and his presentation regarding what you could see. What can you see? What can we see, Eric?
Yeah, and there's lots of different tools that you can use as far as what can you see, in your area in the night sky. But also I'm going to hop into what we were just at in Stellarium, which is a really free, great planetarium tool. I'm sure everybody pretty much here for the most part, and most of the people in our audience, unless you are very new to our to the channel, and if you are, welcome. We appreciate you joining us, and you're taking the time out to spend with us. You may not know where everything is, or where certain objects that might interest you may be located at. And you're going to ask yourself every once in a while, you might want to know where the Eagle Nebula is, or if you have that interest. If you like nebulae, if you like galaxies, if you like open clusters or globular clusters, things like that. And you can figure a lot of these things out by using different tools, and what we call planning tools, such as one of the ones that I use primarily is Telescopius. And I'm going to share that here really quick. And so if I go here to Telescopius, okay, and I'm going to share my screen here. All right, and within Telescopius, right at the very first page, it's what's in the sky tonight, and you can go and select based off of entering in your observatory settings, which is entering in your latitude, your longitude, your GPS location. It then will give you information based off of that day, or you can look even further ahead at what you want on a particular day, say maybe during the new moon, or something like that, what you want to look at. So you would simply go into targets and you can select deep sky, for example. And based on how long you want to, we want to know how long it's over, or how long it is, or how far something is away from the moon, because right now we're in a full moon. If you want, you can set information here as far as how far you want to be away from the moon. And right now there's really nothing, but you can say, I want to be 0 degrees away. Okay, which is basically facing north. Okay, this is basically facing Polaris. And how long it will be over a certain right ascent declination. Okay, so you can say, I want to be, say, over on an average, maybe from the horizon, 20 degrees above the horizon, or maybe even a little bit higher, 30 or 35 degrees, and for how long. So this way you can begin to plan your imaging session. So you, for example, I would usually set mine to at least at a minimum above 25 degrees. And I would say for at least I would say at least 4 hours at the very least. And it will kick out information as far as the objects that it would recommend, as well as where they are as far as when it hit their transit point or their top point. So before they do their flips. So here's Andromeda, and based off of my horizon and my altitude that I set, which was 25 degrees, here's the 25-degree mark, this green line, and where it will be and when it's going to be at that particular time. Right.
That's
and
cool.
so
Yep.
I can then slowly increase that until I get to the point where it reaches the meridian and come back down. And this, and that usually helps you. That will help you get an idea to say, oh, if your sky or say your home or wherever you're imaging from, if you understand the altitude or how many degrees above those objects your sky is, so so you can start, so you can have a clear view of the sky, then you can set that information. So you can make sure you're not hitting or imaging that tree or your roof or anything like that, and make sure you can get good data is what I'm trying to get at. And it also gives you information of when it rises over that 25-degree point and when it sets below that 25-degree point. And in here, you can also, if you choose to, you can create an observation list. And so if I signed in here, I'm just going to go ahead and use Facebook, and it'll pop back up. Right now, I created different lists based off of the different times of the year or the object type, and you can save that information. So it's a good way for you to know what's coming up during that time of year, during that season, to best plan your targets. You can even enter this information and open this up in Stellarium, and you would just simply enter in your Stellarium URL and your password. But we're just simply, instead of going there, we're just going to hop over into Stellarium. And right there is Andromeda. So you can set, so that way you can have a very good idea. So for example, if I went back to my location window, oh no, not my location window. It is my settings, my base settings. And if I go to my landscape, and there's my home horizon. If you can utilize different types of tools to create your own home horizon, to get an idea of what obstructions are going to possibly be in your way, I would take advantage of that, those types of planning tools, those types of survey tools. So as you can see here, Andromeda, this is just one large tree, right, in my back, in my neighbor's yard. So right now, as if I move forward here in time, for the most part, now if you see, Andromeda still stays was still going to stay in my field of view for my telescope, and then I'll hit the meridian and come back around. So these are, so this is one very good tool to use, because you can also enter in information such as your equipment, your astrophotography equipment. Even if you decide to use a hosting service such as iTelescope, you can utilize their information on their telescopes. But I really like this because this will help give you a frame of reference and as far as how your field of view would look based off of your scope. And here's a few of my scopes, and the camera you're deciding to use. And this will also help you out if you ever want to do anything such as mosaic settings. But we're talking right now about as far as what's in the night sky. So this is a great tool to use to go and check out to see what is in the night sky. Of course, there's also, as I mentioned earlier, there is Stellarium, which will give you a very good indication if you set the parameters up to look at different types of objects. They can give you the information of, say, nebula and any other types of objects you want to look for in the night sky based off of your location. And you can take a look and see whatever's, facing south, as well as any other area in any other cardinal point. Another good tool that you can utilize is this guy, Sky Safari Pro. This is a handheld planning tool that you can actually download to your tablet or to your smartphone. And in here, it has a lot of the same information that Stellarium has. However, you can also, with this, if you do a search, you can click on and say, I want to see what tonight's best are. And tonight's best is a set of targets that are very common in the night sky, such as the double cluster in Perseus, Andromeda, and other stars. And this will let you know when it rises and when it sets, to give you a very good idea also on how to plan those targets. And as you can see, anything that's, gray, that's not valid as of right now, such as
I love how
orange.
you have that in blue stacks.
Yeah,
Eric,
pretty cool.
Which app is that? Which one is that one?
This is Sky Safari.
Sky Safari. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah. Yep, this is Sky Safari 6. And this one is, when I first got started, this was and before I discovered Telescopius, this is what I used to help plan my night sessions, to go in and take a look at what's tonight's best and see what was possible and see what was not.
And just to jump in while you're talking apps real quick, I've got an echo. Okay. Can you guys, are you guys hearing an echo on my end?
No.
Okay.
No.
And this is going to be more so for beginners. One app, and I had used this. I don't use this anywhere near as much as I had like years ago. But Star Walk, it's pretty basic. It doesn't have a lot of the targets and such in it, but it's really nice because you can hold that one up to the night sky to help you identify bright stars. So that's I don't know if this Sky Safari do that as well.
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, Sky Safari does that as well. You can point this up. For example, if I can bring this back, I don't know if you can see this here. Let me hide this for a second. You can actually, there's a setting here where you click compass. And if you were looking, this was your phone, you could actually, I'm manipulating my phone, and you can start looking around, and it will tell you, hey, if I'm pointing this way, hey, there's Arcturus.
Okay.
Or, and stuff like, where's Mercury supposed to be, or where any other, if you were planning on maybe doing any Milky Way shooting, You can say, oh, okay, this is right now. This is where the arm, if we were in, we were able to shoot the the arm of the Milky Way, which we are right now because we're outside of galaxy season. You could, start using that tool to help plan. Another great tool. Speaking of tools, as far as the night sky, and if you decided, if you have a DSLR and you want to actually do Milky Way, another great tool that you can actually download is Photo Pills. It is something you will have to purchase. Photo Pills is fantastic.
And it's really good for if you're planning to do that Star Trails thing that Jesse was talking about. It's really good on how to kind of, not only see, you can frame things because you can do a virtual AR.
Yes.
On it, where it just takes a picture of everything around you and you can frame the picture. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty cool. As an FYI, you can also do that same with Sky Safari. Sky Safari on the phone has an AR feature. Just to let anybody know who doesn't know that.
That's true, yeah.
If you don't want to spend the money on Sky Safari, there are lesser versions that are free. If you purchased a Celestron telescope, Celestron has their version of Sky Safari. It is, I believe, what is it? I believe it's called Sky Portal.
Yes. And that's actually written by the guys over at Simulation Curriculum, the same people that do Sky Safari.
Yes. So there are, and also for Stellarium, there is a mobile app for Stellarium as well. So you can download the mobile app for Stellarium. There are other planning apps that you can use, others such as there's one called Night Sky that you can use. Sky Guide is another, and Sky View. There's tons of different apps just on your smartphone that you could utilize to learn the night sky as well as plan for any type of astronomy observation or astrophotography sessions. So I would highly recommend utilizing those. And I will say again, Telescopius, it's free. You can subscribe to the developer's Patreon account. I'm a subscriber, and to throw a little bit of a donation his way, because this takes a lot to develop, a tool such as Telescopius. But it is something that I personally think is very, very good for knowing what's in the night sky and how to plan for your astronomy or astrophotography sessions.
Eric, I didn't realize just how many tools there were in there. I have that, I have it bookmarked and I get in there every so often, but I didn't realize just how much, how much was available within that app. That's very nice to kind of go over those little pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And even you can, if you even wanted to, you can even upload your personal astrophotography and have your own, into the gallery. So kind of like Astrobin, and share information there as well, which is pretty cool. There's other planning apps you could use, I believe, in other planetarium apps, such as Cirque du Ciel.
Yep, CDC.
CDC is one, which is very good. The one down in that Dylan recommends, and even Simon Lewis recommends, what is it called?
Black Forest Skies.
Yes, that's another. There's so many different applications.
Blackwater.
Yes, Blackwater Skies. Thank you. That you can utilize. But again, there are certain things that you will need to have some basic knowledge of. when it comes to certain applications. You will, learning the night sky, understanding your right ascension, how many degrees, your declination, how many degrees high, or below your horizon, above your horizon you should be, to begin targeting. So it's just, there are a few basics you will need to know before you maybe want to take advantage of some of these. Cool.
Right.
And I just want to throw out real quick, because I'd be remiss if I did not mention one of my favorite resources is Charles Bracken's the Astrophotographer's Atlas.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah,
what
that's in the
that
planner.
is?
Yep.
I mean,
the imaging
that
planner.
thing, the
Absolutely.
imaging. It's
Yes.
There's an imaging planner. There's two different ones.
Yeah.
There's an imaging planner, and then there's the Atlas. And I
Yes.
love that thing. It got saturated last weekend because I left it outside sitting on the chair when I was imaging.
If you go to Charlie's website, the Astrophotography Planner, the Sky Atlas, the Deep Imaging Primer, but the planner, you can actually go to Charlie's website, or actually send him an email and give him your location, your GPS information, your longitude and latitude, and he will customize a planner for you. I actually took advantage of it. It was only $20, and I sent it to him, and it's very well worth it.
But,
to have that little piece of information there as well.
But there's only one place where you could get an autographed copy of the planner and an autographed copy of the Sky Atlas. And you can only get it by getting on AstroWorldWeb.com and signing up for the giveways. So
there it is.
Shameless plug there. So
hey, that sounds good.
I just got like 2 or 3 days ago the 3rd edition of the imaging primer. Just because I'm hitting little roadblocks with my processing, and I'm like, hoping a lot of the processing I do, I'll go into and just look at it, and I know, that the 2nd edition is a few years old and just hasn't, Pixinsight has kind of rolled along, they've kept on moving on. So I ended up just getting that, and super excited to get, and that's already getting broken in and highlighted and marked up. But love Bracken's books. Love everyone, I never did get the imaging planner. Did one come out? Did one get put out for this past year?
Not a new one as far. Yeah, so there was a second one that came out with this. This is a new cover. This is the 2nd edition.
Okay, yeah.
This one just came out.
Okay.
The other one has, I believe, the Pac-Man Nebula on it.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
I'm sorry. My guiding just took it. Like, if I'm over here looking like somebody just, completely destroyed my guiding, that's just what happened. Like, it's doing that stupid thing again, and I don't know why. So pardon my sour face. I'm just over here eating jelly beans, trying to feel better about things. Hoping it'll level out. Yeah.
And it was just so cool, for Charlie to do what he did for me. It was really cool because I sent him, and this is a copy of what it would look like when you get it.
Yep.
It looks like this.
Nice.
Let me expand here. And he will customize it. It's a custom one for me, based off of, like I said, your GPS location. And it was kind of cool. He even said, custom edition for Eric Watson, which I thought was pretty,
that's so awesome.
It's pretty sweet.
Now, how do we reach out to him? Is it just on his website?
You can email him at deepskyprimer@gmail.com. So that's how you can reach out to him via email. And
because I've not gotten a primer, and that would be the perfect way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this right here, it gives me so much information, especially here in my area, what's good for me. The objects that are ideal in my latitude, such as Lower's Nebula, the American Nebula, and so on. So
yeah, that's kind of awesome.
yeah,
I mean, I've been impressed with the books of his that he's put out. So yeah, anybody out there, if you're on the fence, get the books, but I like that. I really like that he can customize that for you. And I think I remember right after he had been on the show, you had mentioned that you had emailed him, and he got back to you pretty quickly, didn't he?
He did. He got back to me the next day. He got back to me the next day, and he said he got my email, and he acknowledged that he got the $20 in his to his PayPal, and within I think 2 days, with like that following day or 2 days, then I received the email with
And you can keep on
custom.
scrolling through that as you're talking, because I'm loving looking to see when I
Yeah,
got this third edition of the imaging primer. I know that's available digitally, and I kind of went back and forth. There was like an extra chapter that was available if you bought it digitally, but some things I just like in book form, and this is one.
Yeah.
If I'm doing imaging, if I'm doing processing, I'm on the computer. I want something physical that I can kind of look at and mark up, and I don't want to have another. So I kind of obviously opted to go with the paper copy of that one. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing with it. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's really cool how it gives you, like for example, the Seagull Nebula, when it's the quality imaging hours are the ones that are shaded, as far as those time moonless hours, but because those are the shaded areas. If I zoom in here a bit, those are in shade, and it gives you the different dates, as well as around for my time is probably peak. It's going to be starting, maybe in December, late November, early December.
So that would be a great resource for somebody who's trying to build up, those resources. They don't, maybe just getting started, maybe don't have an app, maybe have an app or two, or have a basic book or two. That would be a great place for, because it is tailored to your location. So,
yes, and I really appreciate, like say here, it gives me information on this year, next year, and 2024.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So 3 years worth of information. So, which is really awesome.
I might get off and end up ordering one.
So like I said, for $20, can't beat it.
There's not much you can do in this hobby for $20, Eric. So like $20.
No, there is not
that's
many.
Like a bargain.
There's not many things you can do. So
no.
Definitely something you want to consider. For sure.
Man, a lot of information. I didn't think we were going to be an hour and a half in and be where we are.
Oh my gosh, we surely are.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
One thing for Charity. Charity was asking, she was trying to find she's still on her hunt for the unicorn of telescopes. And again, Charity, it's not out there.
No, it's not.
It's not out there. And I would even say, and people can agree or disagree with me on this, but in my opinion, the closest thing to the unicorn would be a Schmidt-Cassegrain. And the only reason I say that is because of the versatility of the Schmidt-Cassegrain. Because you can go F2. If you get a night owl, you can go F4. You can go F7 with a reducer, or you can go full F10, or you can use it for planetary and go a little bit deeper. So it's not the true unicorn, but it is very, very versatile because you can utilize different focal ratios. You can utilize different tools and have that one optical tube assembly, but get accessories such as a hyperstar, or a focal reducer, and if you want to do planetary, if you ever get into planetary, getting Barlows or Power Mates, and being able to do those things. But beyond that, I don't know what do you guys think as far as what would be something as close to a unicorn type of telescope.
You know,
you guys definitely know your gear. way more than I do. And I mean, but I can't, you know, I think, Charity, I think you just need to accept fate that there's going to be more than one telescope in your future. Just jump down the rabbit hole. Just do it.
Yeah.
Get that smaller focal length one to get started, and expect to
Yeah.
have a big brother or sister for it in the future. I swear,
Yes.
I look
Yeah,
at it.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and it,
But
you know, because with the Schmidt-Cassegrain, I mean, it's going to have a lot more focal length. So the learning curve on how to, you know, learn how to do the astrophotography is going to be harder.
it will.
I mean,
It's going to be harder.
and that's
because
you had the 8, I had the 6, and that was, I mean, even the 6 was rough. Like I had a hard time with the 6, and if I had stuck with that, if I hadn't just kind of said, you know what, that's it, I'm going to go ahead and just do what, you know, I probably would have been, you know, there's enough frustrations that we have in this hobby, even knowing, I think sometimes, and please don't, you know, Charity, don't be discouraged by this. Just, it's a wonderful, you know, that's, you know, it's not, you could do it. You could absolutely do it. You could, you know, get that higher focal length and just, you know, work through it and do it. And it's absolutely possible. I know there's people out there that have done it. For myself, I would never have been able to. I would have gotten so frustrated that I would have ended up just, you know, it would end up collecting cobwebs. So. Yeah.
And here's a recommendation. If you decide to go down the Schmidt-Cassegrain rabbit hole, I personally, just getting started, would not recommend this.
Don't.
Your first telescope. You know, I would say start out with a wide, you know, a small refractor. However, if you just want to get one scope, and hopefully it's the one scope that rules them all, you know, little Lord of the Rings there. I would definitely start out purchasing a focal reducer and starting out using a focal reducer, simply for the fact of things are, you know, it's slightly faster. Okay. And you do have a wider field of view, so you can be a bit more forgiving. So I definitely do not until you get really, really, really comfortable with that telescope, go down to the F2, go after a hyperstar or something. Just don't even consider it yet. But if you can get in it, you know, but if you get an edge, get the F7 reducer. And at some point, I'm actually thinking of, well, as soon as Arizona, as soon as they get more, I'll actually want to get a night owl, which will bring me down to F4, which is very fast. It'll give you a very wide view, a much shorter focal length. It's in, if I'm not mistaken, what is it? If I calculate this here.
I'm not familiar with this, Eric.
Which one? Night owl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So, you know, the night owl, it's a 4x reducer.
Oh, okay.
That you get from Arizona. That is for Schmidt-Cassegrains, and for, say, a 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain, which is probably one of the most common sizes, or the most common size of a Schmidt-Cassegrain. To go down to an F4, you're at an 812 focal length.
Yeah,
which is very nice.
More manageable.
That is a very manageable focal length.
Yeah.
So it's just, there are certain things you are going to have to decide on.
Yeah, and you know, and the bottom line is with scopes. Yeah, you know, Eric, you're exactly right when you said it's very versatile, and same with you, Jesse. They are very versatile. There is a different learning curve, but you know, to me, you know, yeah, we could just keep on going down that rabbit hole, down the Schmidt-Cassegrain, and keep on buying all this stuff that you're gonna need eventually. A wedge, a guide scope on top. Now you're worried about mirror flop if you don't have an edge, or you with lot. So you're dealing with a lot more of you're dealing with combination collimation. I mean, you're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff there. Now, that's not to say you can't get an awesome picture with an SCT. You definitely can, but it just takes a little bit more perseverance and a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more money than, you know, but when you add up all that money that you put into the Schmidt, you may have enough money to get a nice, decent refractor and not have to worry about half the stuff that you worry about, but you now have a smaller focal length.
Yes.
So you're not going to get deep into the Cygnus wall. You're not going to get deep into the center of the Heart Nebula. You know, you're not going to get those things. You're going to get the Heart Nebula in all of its glory in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, without the aid of a reducer like Eric is talking about, you're going to need that. Or you still won't. You still may not be able to do it because it's still going to be too much.
And if you're just getting started, though, I mean, there is so much that, you know, and that's something when I got the 127, and that's 952 millimeters of focal length. Yep. I was kind of like, I went from 350 with the 70 millimeter. I went to 350 to 952. And I remember, you know, like just feeling like, I'm like, I need to just go big or go home, you know, like I need to just get as big as I can, and which turned out to be as much as I could afford at the point. So that kind of was, you know, that was as big as I could go. So, but I do remember having like, you know, the aperture regret, like maybe I should have saved and got a little bit bigger. But you know, honestly, there is so much out there, and even as limited as I am in my yard, there is so much out there to look at that I'm missing out. Like, I'm like, oh, I just need more focal length so I could get this. There are great targets, you know, at 350 millimeters of focal length. There are great targets at 952. And it's enough to keep me, gosh darn busy, you know. So, you know, while you could certainly get more focal length and you have more targets, you're also losing some targets too, you know, because like when you get so much focal length, you're not going to get all Andromeda. You're not going to get, you know, all of M42. Yes. You're not going to get, so you're getting some targets that are, you know, going to be much smaller, you know, you're going to be able to get them, but then you're missing other ones. You know, you're not going to get the Pelican. You're not going to get the North American Nebula. You're not going to get, you know, all of the Cygnus loops. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, so I guess it could go in either direction, you know, so.
Yeah. And again, like I was mentioning, Telescopius, if you utilize, you know, these types of planning tools, you can enter in information such as, you know, that scope and whatever cameras you're going to use. And there's my puppies. There's the herd. And you can then get some really good ideas for the different on how far or how deep something's going to fit, you know. So if I can, I'm going to share my screen here really quick so I can give an example here to go back to Telescopius. And here is Andromeda, okay? And with Andromeda, and I'm using, for example, I'm using my Schmidt Cassegrain. This is an 8-inch, and this is at f2, a 0.2, so it's at f2. So I'm at 406 millimeter. There's Andromeda, fits really well. However, if I was using a Night Owl, which is 0.4, and you can just slowly start increasing your, you know, that Barlow or that reducer to start getting an idea of how that target is going to fit. So, and there's F7, which is the usual 7x reducer for an edge. So you've got the core, that's it. And if I, you know, killed it and I was at straight F10, there you are. So this will give you some ideas on, even if you aren't ready to buy a telescope, but maybe you have an idea of the type of telescope you're interested in buying, you can put that information into here as part of your as part of your My Telescopes, and maybe a camera you have in mind. Maybe there's a certain type of camera you have in mind that you want to maybe thinking about purchasing. And utilize this to get some ideas on if there are certain targets that you are interested in and that you're after. This is like if I'm using my rope pen. It can give you an idea of say, okay, I'm okay with buying that optical tube assembly, or you know what, maybe I should just stick with a refractor or something like that and just go there, because here's my FLT91, which pretty much gets all of it, for the most part, unless I reduced it, went to an 8-inch with a 0.8 reducer. But this is what I want to just share again. When you're planning, this is not just this tool here, Telescopius. It's really good not just for planning your sessions, but also for planning what you may want to purchase before you do
that's
it.
nice. That is nice. I really did not realize how full, how many features were really in there.
Yeah.
I know when I was looked at 127, I got on Astrobin and I wanted to see like, okay, what I remember punching my camera in, and I know that was at that time when like everybody kind of got a free year's membership, and I spent a lot of time on there, and I haven't been on too awfully much. But like, can you still get on Astrobin without a membership and like search up stuff?
Yeah, you can still do that.
Punch in like this is the camera I'm looking for, or the camera I have, and this is the telescope. So you can get on there and say like, this is the camera I want, this is the telescope I want, and see what other people are doing, because I remember doing that extensively.
That's very popular.
Whoops.
To your point, Jesse, that was a very popular way to get some ideas of, if other people have done it, let me see what other people have done before I do it. And so you can get an idea of what maybe to expect. Now of course, you're all going to have different skies, different Bordeaux levels or different sky quality, but at least this gives you a really good idea of what to expect, as well as for planning, if they put in the information into their image, how long of exposure, how many they've done, stuff like that. So Astrobin is really good.
Like the really, really good ones and the really, really newbie ones, because I knew I was going to be like, I didn't want to be like, this is what I'm going to expect to get, because like, no, this guy's been doing this for like since like the caveman days, but like I remember looking at like, they can't say bad, just beginner shots, but I remember looking at like, okay, this one looks like what I'm going to take. I'm going to go out and I'm going to see there's a lot of noise. There's just stars are a little bloated, this is probably what mine's going to look like, so that's something that you definitely check out Astrobin too. But I think I'm going to have to spend more time with the Telescopius than I have. I need to give a little.
Telescopius is a super powerful tool, and you can definitely use it for a lot of things, just as Eric demonstrated. Again, don't disregard the part of it, because some of it is great, but don't forget that some of it doesn't do some of the things that stuff like astronomy.tools will do, such as check your sampling rate and make sure that you're not oversampled and undersampled. So once you find your pixel size that you need for your scope, then you can bring that into Telescopius and find a camera. You know what I mean? That's the way I would show everybody in the store when I'm there. I say, listen, well, you know what? You got a scope already? All right, let's find out what good pairing that we can get here. And then we'll start showing you field of view, different chip sizes, all that kind of stuff.
Let me ask you a question. And before I ask you this question, I want to jump in here just to mention, because Norm and George were talking about the 461.
Yep.
And I got the tweet. I got the tweet. Airwaves. I got the tweet. I blasted the tweet.
I said 12 grand, but it looks like it's almost 15.
Yeah, it's 14.4. It's like 14.4, 14.5.
I see 14.8.
It's just insane.
It's a high 14s. And
14.8.
Was it like 101 megapixels, medium format? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Who can buy one of those.
Well, I mean, you know, you got to think
I'm not,
that
I mean,
you got
I'm
to
not,
remember.
I'm not saying that nobody can afford it but my God, a $15,000 camera.
George, so I will test
Not
one
I.
when you buy it and you send it to Camera Concepts, and I'll open box it for you and I'll test it then. So, so that's how that's going to work. But that is probably something that's going to be a special order in most retailers.
God, yes.
Only.
Yes.
It's
You
out
will
of
not see
control.
OPT
That
or High Point or
yeah,
Camera
the only
Concepts
person I
or
can see
Dina.
carrying it is really Woodland Hills. They
think?
carry
Yeah.
all the
There's
high end.
Pete.
They got like plane wave stuff in their warehouse. So
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
mean, they
saying.
got
So and Pete
yes,
would put
Norm.
that
Next
sucker
giveaway
together
is
with a
coming.
plane wave
I've
and
had
stuff
nothing
like
to
that.
say today because you guys just were great. So I mean, it was nice to kind of just Dave
But
Barnett's
real
on.
quick, getting to my question when we were talking about camera and sample sizes and
Yep.
and sampling, I'm coming across a dilemma and trying to decide my imaging to make certain decisions on my cameras. Okay, so I have the 294 mono, and I have the 294 one shot and the 550 and the 533 one shot. And right now I'm primarily using the 294 mono. And you know that it does go down to bin 1, so it goes over 8,000 by 5,000 resolution, and you get a pixel size of about 2.36 microns,
Okay.
I believe. I began work and started doing some imaging. However, when I was plugging the data into Pixinsight's subframe selector and trying and wheedling out, based off of full weight half measure size and eccentricity,
Right.
everything for every shot, because I had it set at the minimum of full weight half measure was at 4 and eccentricity was at 0.6.
Okay.
Every frame was at least in the 5s, 6, and was at least in the 5s at minimum, mostly in the 6 and primarily in the 6s.
Okay.
And
So
eccentricity was at around 7. It was usually about a little bit above 0.6, maybe 6.5, more closer to the 7.7, stuff like that.
Well,
so my
the
thought
bottom line
and concern is based off of that information, does that give me a good idea of my seeing for my area?
Depends. It could be a very typical, if that's a lot higher than what you normally are, at 6s and 7s FWHM, I'm going to say that's probably higher for you than normal. With knowing your scope selection that you have. If that's the case and it's a lot higher than normal, I would tell you to click on one, look at it, zoom in on it, look at the eccentricity of the stars, which is the roundness of the stars, look at your focus, make sure they're not bloated and all that kind of stuff. And you may have to change those settings in the descriptors, in the rules, based on what's good for you.
Right. For
But
example, so
point
if I went to astronomy.tools, right? And if I'll bring up Pixinsight here. And I'll share this with you as well. I've got so many fracking screens open, it's nuts. So if I go here and share my screen again, and we go into Pixinsight, and I'm just gonna
let me get this stuff off the screen here.
Now. because usually I'm at 0.4 and I'm at 0.6. Right now, just tinkering around. So here's the wizard, for example. And this is what I was working on yesterday. And if we go in, maybe, okay, this is maybe not a good example. Because as you, and this was at 600, this was a 5-minute shot.
5-minute shot, but what's the eccentricity on it? Because I see oval stars.
Yeah. So, and if I go back there to share that, where was it? So eccentricity, you know, these are like at point all in the 7s.
Okay, so that might be a little
So
bit high
in
for
theory,
you.
had an 8. Yeah. So, but another one was, you know, a lot of these were the full weight half measures. Okay, some were, you know, like they're in the high 4s, and then getting into the 5s. So and this is just an FYI. This was me, and this is I was binning based off of astronomy.tools. If I go there, because I was thinking I was getting some poor seeing based off of the sizes, it was recommending 3x3 binning.
Okay.
So I started giving that a shot.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just trying to I'm trying to figure out, you know, because you don't really hear of binning this high.
Well, did that improve your images, or did it make it worse?
I think for the most part, other than, you know, the roundness, and that's probably the next thing I'm gonna have to work on. Because if I come back there, and if I go to other, you know, there is some, you know, bright star here. Right. It's round, but it is starting to oval a little bit. And others, I can see there's a bit of an oval. So I'm wondering, is that more due to exposure length? Is it guiding? Because I, you know, I polar aligned everything, because I try to polar align at least twice a month, even with the peer. You know, I'm trying to nail things down.
Because you got to remember, Eric, you know this as well as anybody, and I get it, but there are more issues that could be here than just seeing. So without seeing all the actual workflow and the data and the guiding and all that, and knowing what the seeing was, I could just name you the possible factors of it. You know what I mean? I can't tell you what exactly it is. There's no way without looking at your guiding, looking at your seeing, looking at the transparency, you know, all that kind of stuff is going to affect that. Curvature, I mean, tilt. I mean, you know, I mean, we could go on.
Who knows?
We could go on and on to the whole thing. So instability. Thank you, Charity. I mean, you know, a gust of wind. You know, all these things could be a factor of what you're seeing. And I've seen your pictures before, and I'm sure you'll get it sorted fairly quickly. That's not.
Yeah, it's just you know, sometimes even when you've done something as long as I have, and as long as you have, and I've been doing this now for maybe 4 or 5 years. You still gotta start asking the questions and grinding and going back to the basics and rethinking the workflow, rethinking your steps. Because
here's a basic from Dave. Dave is asking you, do you weigh east heavy? And you know, that may be something too.
That may be something too. I am, with me having the central balanced mount, I don't usually, on my RA, I usually don't go heavy. I'm usually try to stay pretty balanced with the CEM60.
Yeah, that's true.
based on it's not, it's a central balance, it's a central equatorial
Everyone's
mount.
showing out, throwing out like suggestions. It's like,
yeah, I know, and I love it, and thank you, and I love it.
That's without seeing the whole process.
Yeah.
With all the, the only person that knows what exactly happened that night is going to be you on that one, because we could just sit there. We could just sit there. And
another one here is a very good point that David also brought out. Could have been cable drag, because I am using my Ethernet. I have an Ethernet cable and other things, so it could be.
Yep.
Swapping the gear mesh. Yeah.
All right.
It could be, even with,
Let's get.
So it's charity ground, not level ground. Just the FYI, I'm on a pier, so
better be level.
That it better be freaking level. There's much concrete that's in there.
It's settling. I didn't put enough damn concrete in there.
Yeah, no kidding. So dress them cables. Yeah. So
wow, we didn't do picture of the week either.
Oh my gosh, and it is 10 o'clock already. Holy cannoli.
Dry grease on cable. I'll check that out.
My guy is doing this thing again. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks, if I'm making like weird faces. I'm making weird faces as I sit here and munch my jelly bellies. Guiding is just like my deck just crashed. It's not the crazy thing that it did the other day, but it's just like I don't know what's going on with this. It's weird.
I'm just getting the wheel ready for everybody because everyone's getting antsy, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. Carol was just asking, could you discuss image scale, binning, and drizzling? I know my camera and scope are not well matched. Another night. So I love both. Yeah. Carol, let's, if we can we address this? I'm going to copy this question
on Wednesday.
And maybe we can address this on Wednesday. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to put this onto my notepad here. So you can have that. That's right. Since let's see. I think because I'm not an admin on the site, but there it is. Okay, cool. Carol, I've got your question here. Why don't we do a little bit of research as well, so we can maybe explain a couple things regarding image scale and binning and drizzling, and we can set this up as a question we can answer on Wednesday.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, so since I've done completely nothing tonight except for spin the wheel and do the sponsors,
roll that beautiful bean footage. Roll, spin that wheel, spin it.
I'll just be the wheel spinner. I don't
on,
want to say
Vanna.
what I want to say.
Go ahead,
I was going to say that. I was going to say it, but you know what?
On,
I didn't want to be sexist because people are getting on my back about doing things and saying things.
Spin that wheel.
Oh my goodness.
I'll spin the wheel. So let's get the wheel up. Not like we did last time. So we gained a couple. We gained another 6 people on the wheel this week. So we now have 90 people spinning for.
And tonight is for a Masters of Pixinsight class. Is that correct?
Yeah, Masters of Pixinsight class. And for those of you that don't know, Masters of Pixinsight. What's that?
They're doing one on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? Yeah, this Tuesday. So our next is this Tuesday. Photons to Photos #9, and this series is actually becoming really, really good because what they do is they pick an object and you watch either Ron or Warren process the photo from beginning to end. From the bare stack. So they don't do pre-processing. So it's right out of the stack. So, and they have a whole bunch of other stuff. So they got weighted batch pre-processing, Pixinsight for newbies. If you're starting with Pixinsight, they got the intermediate workshop series. They have a whole bunch now. They've been doing this for almost 2 years now. And It's really, and they're really good bunch of guys. So on this one, it looks like they're let's see. They went. Oh no, this is going to be at a Karina, and it's going to be a twofer. It's going to be Ron and Warren doing that data from beginning to end. So it's a 2-hour workshop on August 16th, which is, like Jesse said, this Tuesday. So here we go. Spin it. Who's going to win it this time?
Spin it, spin it, spin it.
You know what? We don't even see the screen on our end, so.
Okay, yeah. So
over.
Here you go.
Yeah, we have to flip it over on our side.
And there you go.
Hey, Jim
Fakiselis. And you know what? That's funny. He just purchased my Eagle 3. So, and he lives on Long Island. Yeah. So nice. I sold my Eagle 3 in anticipation of something, but we'll see.
Okay.
So the Eagle 3 is gone. I have the Eagle 4, and that's fine. So Jim F, congratulations, you won. I'm sure I'll get a text message tomorrow. And I think let's take a look real quick, and okay, and we'll go here, and we'll go to the picture of the week. And it's been loading up. Notice how quick it is loading up now. That it's not like slow.
It's not cached anymore.
It's not cached anymore, which is great. So these are the pictures that we had. We had George Bubble. We had Andy M13. It looks like, or is that Omega? I think that's Omega. I don't see. I don't see. It doesn't say.
Didn't have a description, but it could be it could be Omega.
It's a wide angle of the iris.
Yeah, the iris and the ghost.
Yep.
Is that? Where's Casper? I'm trying to find that little ghost that's always around there.
I'm gonna name one Casper just for you. Pelican Nebula by Josh. Then we got the Elephant Trunk, Bob D'Amato.
Yeah.
Then we got a dumbbell, and Hogarth.
Okay.
And then we got Mike Gibbs, and
Cocoon.
Is that the Cocoon? Yep, that's
Cocoon. Yeah, it looks like it's Cocoon. Mm-hmm.
And then we got
the Lagoon.
The Lagoon. Another dumbbell by who is this? This is Jim at Pepper Moscais, the guy who just won the Masters of Pixinsight Class. And then we still got to do the July Picture Month is still accepting votes. So go vote. I haven't voted yet, but the Picture of the Month is going to be given out this Friday. So vote for your Picture of the Month. So we got Josh's Ro Ophiuchus. We got Ernie's NGC 7000, the North American. Then we got Wade's Eagle Nebula. And that's it. We only had 3. So definitely go vote for the Picture of the Month. So with that being said, let's see. We had a lot of votes on this one. We had 50 votes in this one.
Really?
I think that's a record. And image of the week, August 12th ended. And the results are by a landslide. This is, which one is this? Really? You didn't put it in the, didn't put that name in there. They didn't put the name in there.
There's no information.
Okay, so let's see. That was Equipment Explore Scientific 165.
So if you have for that, for the 165.
This one, here we go. George
there
Lutch.
It is. George
Lutch won it. George, put your name in the description, man. So George got 35 out of the 50 votes. So nice job to George. So George, congratulations. We'll put you up on the site tomorrow.
Does that show up now? If you scroll to any of the other images,
yeah, after you vote, it will show.
Votes?
Yeah, it'll show 4 votes.
Okay.
4 votes. Yeah. So it'll show how many
so
votes
after
you got.
So after you've voted, it will
show the amount of votes. Yeah.
The amount that so far that's been going. Nice.
Yep. So very good. Congratulations to George. Nice job.
Well done.
All right. Great picture. That bubble nebula is awesome. I love that bubble.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. And that just about concludes us tonight. We won't do the Bortle sky because it's 10 o'clock. And, it's time to go to bed. Actually, it's time to start imaging. So,
yeah, you guys have my nights now.
There you go. When we're done, I want you guys to take a look at this hot mess of guiding that I got going on, because I am about ready to go out and absolutely yeet my stuff across the yard. I'm like about over this.
Well, so I'm still trying to get focus on my H alpha. I'm having an issue with the focus on the H alpha.
I got like 3 or 4 good shots, and it's not as extreme as like the pictures that there it goes again. Oh, okay. I am like absolutely ready, and I don't know what is going on, but it is like it's a repeat. It's something. It's definitely something. And so, like for y'all out there, maybe if you have an idea, I'm going to show you like a picture of this nightmare that I got going on right now, and it is.
Well, hold on. I see a dither right there.
It's not. It's not. It's not with the dither. It's not constantly with the dither. And the issue I was having, it's the same thing. It's not quite as extreme as it was a couple days ago. A couple days ago, it was looking like this. I think it's a visual representation of my heart rate.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh wow, yeah.
I don't know what, and it was doing it like every third picture, it was doing it. Well, now I got this thing going on, what I just showed you guys, and it is happening just.
Well, you got the EQ6R, right?
Do you polar line every session?
I just polar lined the other day.
I would start looking at belt tension. That's what I would start looking at.
And it's doing it again. This is like Philly's one. But it's like going on, and it's happening again. And then
Dave said that looks like backlash too. So
yeah.
Okay. It has happened since I took my gear to Cherry Springs and I brought it back. And like I said, I've had every so often, like I would get this when I would just start running it. So maybe it is backlash.
Not for nothing. And then you changed the latitude and everything back to normal, right?
And, oh yeah, no, I had to.
Just saying.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I definitely. I'm polar aligned. I am on, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to get anything.
That's a good idea, Dave. Shut off the guiding. Stop guiding and watch the graph. Just turn off the guiding and let it run.
Stop the guiding and do what?
And what? When did you do that guiding assistant?
You know what? Actually, because you'd asked me about that, and I had opened that because when I had these issues the other day, I started going through everything. Where was it? In tools, guiding assistant, and I didn't know what to enter in for the information.
Okay. So that's something we can go over on the side. That's fine.
Yeah. The one thing is that I would recommend is, since you set up quite odd, because you're using your mount, and because you have your mount on tripods and everything like that, right, in your backyard. One thing I would recommend is, try to maybe just consider making sure your polar alignment is set as often as possible, even if it's every day.
I do
like in your situation.
Yeah.
And
just because I do have to polar line through these trees and stuff, I'm always kind of like, is it off a little bit? So I didn't tonight, just because, when I would normally go out, like there's a really small window of time where it's really easy for me to. just if it gets too dark, I can't see behind that leaf if it gets behind that leaf. And if it's, too bright, obviously I can't see Polaris. So I've got that very small window of time. So I wasn't able to tonight, but most of the time I just check my alignment every night just because, that way at
But
least if I have
just so you know,
I can eliminate that.
Yeah, just so you know, if you both you guys kind of looked at me and said, turn off the guiding and watch the graph, and like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, like I turn it off and the graph stops.
Yeah, don't hit the stop button. Don't hit the stop button. All you do is turn the aggressiveness on both the RA and the deck to 0, and that turns off the guiding. Because now you're just letting it drift on its own. It's just doing the tracking, right?
So the RA aggressiveness at 0 and the deck aggressiveness at 0. Okay.
And then just watch the graph and see if it still drifts.
Okay. Now I'm just going to stop taking any pictures.
Thank you, Dave, for reminding me how to do that. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, because I was like, okay, now I'm feeling like maybe there's some secret information that I don't know about. And okay, so now I turned that off, and my RA and deck are just going whoosh.
Are they both going the same way, or are they separating?
Well, my declination is going up, rate ascension is going down.
Are you sure your polar alignment's good?
That's what I'm kind of curious about.
100% perfect. I mean, but it's pretty. It's on the circle. I mean, like I say, I didn't check today. But now
even Dave is saying bad polar alignment also.
Yeah,
so
that's
this is what it's doing right now.
Yeah, because I'm just saying that because even with me having my peer,
it's starting to level out a little bit.
I see it. Yep.
Yeah, if I start seeing stuff like that on my guiding with the ASI Air, I start wondering about my polar alignment.
Immediately, especially if they go like this, like really fast. That's usually a key, a red flag for polar alignment.
They're going out, then they're coming back, and then they're going out.
Yeah, it's gonna go it's gonna close like an oyster,
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, you're gonna have to play around with it.
Yeah. Oh Lord Almighty.
Yep.
Hopefully,
time to go to bed.
Full time. Tree's going down.
Yeah. Well,
hey, fellas, it's time to go check out my problem of amount. And,
oh my Lord.
Yeah. I've got well, right now I had all of my chances to image this week. I'm looking at Astropheric. Astropheric is another good weather app. It's not that bad to plan around for. And I got nothing. I mean, I'm not going to be imaging, it looks like, for a while. It's looking really bad as far as weather.
Here's what I'm doing right now. So I'm guiding well.
Yeah, you're about half an arc second.
Yep. And I could probably get it even better with the aggressiveness.
I mean,
it looks like my RA aggressiveness is a little bit too much, but I'd probably turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. I could deal with 0.5.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, with the ASI Air versus PhD itself, you can only go down in by 5s.
Yep.
You can't go, any further as far as granularity, which is a little frustrating, but I still,
you get used to it.
Yeah, you do. And I really, I've got to start. Yeah. I think, maybe also with my thing, it could have been also my guiding because for some reason yesterday, my guiding was, now that I think about it, my guiding was stupid. My guiding was over, it was close to, I think, an arc minute Or
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry,
thank you,
over an arc
Hogarth, for the
second.
donation. Thank you.
Yeah, over an arc second. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. It's time to go outside and fight the bees
Well, you
and
guys have fun.
fight the gnats. And
Yep.
I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be playing around. I really want to get this focus down because I just got that new Optech focuser. So I got to check out my step size and everything. So I want to get all that.
If anybody has an extra $1,000 lying around, or $1,100 and $1,115 lying around, they want to donate it. I could buy a Star Aid and test it out, and we can share it amongst ourselves.
I gotta call up Hendrik Benjamin. I gotta call him up because he said we were gonna get one. And
yeah.
That never happened.
Yeah,
but
that never happened.
No,
that never happened.
No,
so
it didn't.
It's like I don't put too much into it. But
well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But you know what? Because I was really on the fence, thinking, at one point this year, I was like, maybe I should just go ahead and spend the money and get a Star Aid and see if my guiding is any better that way. Just really, does it really make that much of it? Does it make for $1,100? It better make my stars.
Not if you talk to Richard Wright. Don't talk to Richard Wright.
Yeah, I know, right? Guiding will be dead.
The death of guiding,
Death of guiding in like less than 5 years.
give me 3,000 5-second shots. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, not with the cameras the way they are lately, and you got 90, almost 100 meg bit files. I don't know.
Well, but he does have a solid point. Eventually, it'll probably go away. But probably sooner
right now,
than later.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, I know you are.
Really?
All right, everybody.
Yeah, I think I am going to need to go out and just check that. I've only had a couple of good nights since I got back from Cherry Springs, and I said, it wasn't like the last time, like the I guess 2 or 3 nights ago, like that was just a Greek tragedy, because it was a nice night, and I'm like, but this is just off the charts stupid.
And we got somebody. I think we finally got. I think we got our first bot for the night. I'm not sure, but
I don't know. It's perfect. We can. Perfect. Good night, everybody. We're out of here.
I'll leave that one up there. I don't know if that's a bot or not, but but everybody have a good night. Don't forget Wednesday night we got Molly Wiglin coming on with us. It's gonna be. Oh no, it's not a bot. He just said no, so I thought maybe it was something, but oh, you got to go. The show is over. It's time to go home. Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging around and being with us for this Friday night's edition of AstroWorld Beginners, Back to Basics. And everybody have a good night. Have a great weekend. And as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And that is my final word because I said nothing else all night. So have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Have a great weekend, everybody.